What is up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. My name is Kat, if you do not know me already. I make lifestyle videos, monthly resets, travel if I do end up traveling, and of course wedding videos. So if you are interested in any of those types of videos, just hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and don't forget to like and comment. So today is Wedding Wednesday, and of course that means another episode to my wedding planning series, and today we're talking about wedding venues. I think how I'm going to show it to you guys is probably just show you like a few clips in the beginning, and then afterwards just talk about it a little bit with some clips over me talking, just so you guys have an idea of what we were planning for certain areas and how it would turn out, and what the person that was helping us out with was letting us know in regards to like the information and details and stuff like that on how it would play out on the day of our actual wedding. So I just want to let you guys from the beginning, we only saw 2 venues in total physically, like in person. We were initially planning to see 3, but then the last one I canceled for a reason you'll find out later in the video. And then I also did have like other thoughts of venues before I even got engaged. Like I had a list of wedding venues that I was ready to like tour and go to, but then when I actually ended up getting engaged, those ones just didn't fit my vibe anymore that I wanted for the wedding, so I just kind of scratched those guys out. But I think what I'll do, I'll leave them like down in the description box just so you guys have any if you guys need any ideas on wedding venues if you do live in South Florida. So just for a little context for you guys, we got engaged in the beginning of May, and then we got back from our trip, and then I was like, okay, we already know we kind of want to get married like mid-end of 2024, so I kind of need to get on this venue shopping, just because I know brides out there book it 1.5 to 2 years out in advance, and I did not want to fall in love with the venue and then them tell me, hey, we don't have your dates, 2024 is fully booked. I did not want that. So Hunter probably thought I was crazy, and he did think I was crazy for looking at venues and booking appointments like almost immediately after we came back from vacation. But I just wanted that to be done, just because that is the most important thing, because once you have your venue, you have your wedding date, and then from there everything just kind of trickles down along with that. So I just wanted to be done. So we honestly saw a few weeks after we got back from our Europe trip and after we got engaged. So yeah, I was pretty quick with it. So that's a little advice. You want to book your wedding venues 1.5 to 2 years, especially depending where you live. I live in like southern Florida, not Miami area, but like still I live in South Florida, so it's a little bit harder to find areas in which they're available, and also depending on your budget as well, because it can be expensive in the area that I live in. So yeah, that's something to think about. A few things that we were looking for in the venue was obviously budget friendly, nothing like $40,000-$50,000 just for the event space. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, if you make enough money and you can do that, good for you, but we definitely cannot do that. We are paying this wedding ourselves. Of course we have family members helping us out a little bit, but we are paying everything out of pocket ourselves. I have a little notepad down here too, just in case you guys see me looking down. And then in the beginning of when we were wedding shopping, we were kind of looking for something a little bit more rustic but still elegant enough so it could be kind of timeless. That was my main thing. I wanted something timeless. I did not want to look back at my wedding photos and videos and be like, what in the hell did I choose? Like, I did not want that. And then also, I know when I was looking at wedding venues, when I was researching, a lot of them just kind of showed the price online on their website for just the event space. It didn't even include food, alcohol. Some of them don't even include tables, linens, or anything like that. So we kind of wanted something that was a little bit inclusive or all inclusive, just to make it easier on ourselves. I think it's time to show you guys venue number 1. That was our very first venue that we ended up seeing. We ended up seeing that on May 28th of 2023. So it's been a while now. It's basically been almost a full year since we've, you know, started a whole wedding planning process. So that venue. So when it came to venue shopping as well, we kind of wanted something not too far away, or I don't know. We just were kind of feeling the vibes for like distance wise. So this one was actually 45 minutes away from where we live. And it's also like, since it is more like a ranch farm type of vibe, obviously it's gonna be a little bit in the middle of nowhere. So we were like, where are we? But it was nice enough because it's quiet enough and it's not too many cars or anything like that driving around, just so, you know, it's more secluded. So we liked that right off the bat when we got there. When we first got there, we met up with one of the ladies that was helping us out. I forget her name, but she was super nice. And she just kind of told us, you know what, take a walk, look around, see what you like, what you don't like, let me know if you have any questions, and then we'll meet up afterwards, and then I'll kind of give you the details and give you a walkthrough myself. We're like, okay, perfect. Started off outside in the ceremony area because that venue is known for their big, humongous, beautiful tree that they have outside for the ceremony area, which I loved. And I've seen so many photos of their location with that tree lit up at night, and it's beautiful. So freaking beautiful. And then we kind of went inside a little bit and saw some of their tables already kind of set up. They actually were having a wedding that night, so it was nice enough. It was nice to see a wedding set up, just to see and envision it a little bit better than if it were like to be completely empty with no decor or anything like that. So it kind of gave us an idea of how it would look on our wedding day. Obviously not the exact same style, but still give us a little bit of an idea. I loved how they had like a combination of the long tables and round tables. I love me some rectangular long tables. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So while we were taking a stroll inside of the venue, we kind of realized the dance floor and the sweetheart table were kind of in front of these like front entrance doors, which I don't think it would have been open that day because the side entrance from the ceremony area to the reception area would have been open, so it would be more inside. But I just didn't like, we kind of noticed right off the bat, we didn't like how the sweetheart table was right in the middle, and you kind of basically have to like snap your neck basically to the right and left in order to see your guests. You're not physically like in front of them, you can't see them in front of them, you'd have to like really just look to the right and to the left. So I felt like, yeah, it's good to have a sweetheart table where you're kind of secluded from your guests to have your own time, but I feel like it was too far away from the guests and too secluded where you can't see everyone, and I don't know, I just didn't like that. And I also didn't like, wow, how it was directly, literally right in front of the dance floor. So there was that. Could have been, it's just me being a little bit picky, but I just didn't like the layout of that, just because the venue is more it's longer, so it's not like wider, it's longer. So I get the reasoning of why they have to put the tables on the side. So basically after we walked around ourselves, she kind of gave us a little walkthrough. So she took us outside again. She showed us this little bonfire area in which you can, you know, create a fire outside during the nighttime if people wanted to. Then she showed us this little cute cart which would hold waters or drinks and stuff like that for the ceremony time, just because that was important to us, just because at previous weddings we've been to, no drinks or no water were provided to us, and we were outside under the sun and was scorching, like in the scorching heat, like sweating, and there was no shade at all, and we had nothing to drink. So that was a big red flag for us when it came to like weddings. We immediately knew at our wedding we need drinks for people because that's a big thing. So thankfully they had a cute little cart in which they said we would provide drinks for the ceremony time, which was perfect. And then that little hallway was actually their cocktail area, in which they was set up with the high tables, with those round high tables just for that. And then there was a little window at the end of the cocktail area, which is where the bartender would be and would actually serve drinks through that window, which was super cute. So she took us back inside, and then she showed us the bridal and groom suite, which is pretty neat. The groom suite, I believe, had like a pool table and then some drinks and snacks. And then I did see the bridal suite. I didn't record it just because the bride was actually in there. The bride was actually in there getting ready So obviously I did not want to record her or her, you know, girls and stuff like that. It was a decent size for the bridal suite. So she did tell us there's self-parking outside, they wouldn't have valet, and that the linens and the tables were included, the ones that were on the table, but if we did wish to bring anything else or use anything else, we would have to provide it. They did have their own bartender that we do have to hire and have a license for it, like we had to get the license or something for them, so we had to pay that fee as well. And then she did inform us that they have like their preferred list of vendors, like not even preferred, they're like you have to choose from this list, I guess, because they have experience working with them, which is totally fine. But she was like, you have to hire this caterer. So the caterer is not even included in the venue price, which I'm actually going to tell you guys in a little bit what it was. So basically the price for the venue was just for the space. Nothing was really included other than the linens and the tables. So we had to hire our own caterer, and it would be buffet style, which I was not a big fan of either. When I thought of my wedding, I thought of something like super elegant and not casual. Like buffet style is pretty cool and stuff, it's fine, but for my wedding I just kind of envisioned it being served. But then when it comes to, you know, being served plated dinners, then you run into the risk of the food being cold and blah 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 blah. So, you know, there's pros and cons to each of them, and then to each their own, but buffet style was like, I kind of don't want that for the wedding. So the next point I'm going to tell you guys, this is kind of when me and Hunter looked at each other and we're just like, I don't know if this is the right place for us. So there's actually 2 points. So one of them, I asked her, I was like, okay, the venue's on a big plot of land and you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. We kind of noticed we didn't see any hotels nearby. Now, do you guys have a list of hotels that are nearby, or what's the closest hotel that you guys have nearby? And she said about like 20 minutes. So that was a little bit of, not a red flag, but just like a con for that venue, just because it would make it more difficult for people to kind of get there, or it was just a little bit too far for people. She did say that she would provide us like a list of hotels and stuff like that that were like nearest or in the next town over, just to make it easier for us, which was nice. But then this next point is when me and Hunter looked at each other and were like, I don't think that's gonna work. They have a noise ordinance for 10 p.m. so that's like their curfew. The DJ, the music, everything has to just stop at 10 p.m. Everything has to be off, everyone has to leave at 10 p.m. No later than that. And we kind of looked at each other and were just like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I'm Dominican, my family's Dominican, and we like to party. And also we're paying for our wedding ourselves, so, you know, we like the party to go on at least a little bit longer than that. So that was something that we both didn't agree with. We were like, okay. At this point we didn't know exactly the date we wanted for our wedding, but we did know the month. So she showed us the calendar and what was available, and we kind of saw a weekend which would work best for us. So that's when we realized how expensive weddings can be. That's when the light bulb went off and we're like, holy crap, okay, we're really gonna have to budget. I don't know how much money we're gonna spend on this wedding, but it's gonna be a lot more than we anticipated. And this was just for the venue only. It could be like just because we're paying it ourselves, it was just a little bit, I don't know, like shocking kind of. So for a Friday it was $8,000 just for the venue. So you still have to keep account the bartender, the caterer, the DJ, the decor, the this, the that. So there's so much more, especially like the food. Food costs anywhere between $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So depending where you get it from. So that was a big thing. And then for the Saturday was $10,000, and for the Sunday was $7,000 just for the space. So initially I was very adamant about having our wedding on a Saturday, just because that's one of the best days to have it on. And that's when we both were just like, okay, I think Saturday is not going to be our best friend. It's not going to be the best date for our wedding, just because it is going to cost more money for whatever we get. So that's when we kind of decided, I think we're going to have a Sunday wedding. We chose Sunday over Friday just because Friday, I feel like that interrupts the work week for people a little bit too much. Sundays, it allows people to kind of fly out Friday night or Saturday morning, enjoy it, and just take Monday off. So we thought it would be better to do it that way than missing 2 days of work or like interrupting their work week. It'd be better just to take off the beginning of their work week. So that was our thoughts on that. So yeah, I think that was basically it for that venue. We ended up not going with this first venue just because of the curfew and everything like that. I didn't keep any of the papers that she gave me. I don't know why, because I knew I was going to make this video and talk to you guys a little bit about it. I didn't keep it, so I can't remember all the details she told us about this place. But yeah, that was it for venue number 1. I'm going to have the name of it down below just because we ended up not going with that one, just in case you guys are interested in that one. Venue number 2, as you can see, is a little bit of a different style than the first venue that we ended up seeing. This second venue we saw end of June of 2023, so it was about a month after we saw the first one. When I looked it up online, and when I saw it online, I kind of was under the impression I wasn't going to like this place at all. Just because from the photos online, it looked a little bit outdated and it looked more like a banquet hall for like meetings and stuff like that rather than a wedding venue. So that's when I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but let's just go see it anyways. And at this point I still had the third venue appointment still up. It was for a couple days after this second venue, so I was like, let's just go see it just in case something goes wrong with the third venue that we looked at. And by our surprise, the second venue was so much better in person. It was so beautiful. It was very different vibes from the first venue. It was more European. It's actually an Italian style venue, which honestly just spoke to us loudly just because we were just in Italy and we loved it. And the person helping us was Maria, and she's wonderful. She was just so personable with us. So it just clicked from the very beginning, and we were both very shocked when we walked in the beginning. So she met up with us, and immediately we just got into it and started viewing all the spaces. Before I get into like all that info, this one was actually only 25-30 minutes away from where we live, so it was honestly not that bad. If you live in Florida, you know, commuting anywhere is like 30 minutes or even more, so it's not that bad. So that was lovely. So she started us off outside in the outdoor ceremony space, which was beautiful. That fountain they had is beautiful, and I fell in love with it. We both did. The chairs, she said, would be white, which was perfect. I don't want green or brown like the other location or anything like that. That's just me being picky. So she said it would be white chairs just kind of lined up, and of course you have the aisle going down the center, and they provide the chairs. We don't have to rent those out. After that, she led us down the hall to the cocktail area. So there's an indoor and outdoor cocktail area, which was wonderful. So basically you see the bar area, and then people can be inside and also outside. It was beautiful as well. She said they would have some high top round tables out there as well for people. And then that was also kind of connecting with the backup ceremony area, which was also wonderful. So just because it is Florida, or anywhere, honestly, you never know if it's gonna rain. I hope to God it does not rain our wedding. I pray to God it does not. But that would be the backup ceremony area. Initially, that would have been the backup ceremony area, which was very different vibes in the outside. It's more of that rustic kind of vibe, which was nice. And she did tell us that no matter what, they'll have both areas set up just in case if the weather is kind of iffy. This is Florida, so it can be raining one second and then it'll be, you know, sunshine and flowers blooming the next. So it's very unpredictable. But she said they would have both areas set up no matter what, which is pretty nice. Just because some venues are like, you need to make a decision right now, and that's what you're sticking with, which I've heard, and it's terrible. So that would have been the backup ceremony area. So, and I'll explain why that would have been and why things change at the end. But after that, she kind of led us to the other side of the property. So here's the entrance and the outdoor ceremony area to, if I'm looking at it, to the right of it is like the cocktail area and back of ceremony area, and then you kind of have to walk towards back the lobby area into the outdoor ceremony space and go to the other side of the property, which is where the main reception space is. And once we walked into the main reception area, of course, my camera stopped recording. But once we walked into the main reception area, we both just fell in love. I fell in love, he fell in love. It was just like, it was just birds chirping everywhere. It was just so beautiful and so different from the photos that I saw online, and I was so happy about that, so freaking happy about it. The chandeliers, to die for. And then she kind of just changed the lighting a little bit just to kind of show us how it would be on the wedding day, and we would choose the lighting that we wanted, and it just all came together. So in that moment, we both kind of knew we kind of really like this. It's a lot better than we expected, but of course at that point we needed to find out the details on the price and the dates available and how it would work and stuff like that. So she showed us everything. She kind of showed me, I believe she did show me the bridal suite. They don't have a groom suite, that's the only thing, but the bridal suite she showed us. She told us if no other event was going on, if we rented both areas of the venue, then the bridal suite would kind of extend because they had a door or a wall kind of splitting it up. So after she showed us everything, and after we both were like, okay, this might actually work, she sat us down and she told us in the reception that all the tables, all the linens, they have different color linens, all that is included. The chairs in that area were that clear acrylic type chairs, which I love. She said that would be included. That would be the type of chairs that they would have no matter what. If we wanted different ones, we'd have to rent it out from a company, but I loved it just the way it was. So the way the packages were laid out in the package, I believe they had 3 or 4 different packages. So on the top it just says the ceremony, how much it would cost, and then something else. I can't remember what else it was. I think it was the valet, because valet would be included in the package. And then under that it would show the meal packages, alcohol, and stuff like that. So this venue was all inclusive. It had the ceremony fees involved, the valet, food, alcohol, and actually the cake as well. That was all included into our price point, which was wonderful, just because it makes it so much easier for a bride and groom to plan, because if you're renting just the space, then you have to hire so many other vendors. This just made it so much easier for us. So she kind of showed us the options, and she showed us like if we wanted to kind of upgrade one thing, then like she just did like she just showed us all the logistics when it came to like the numbers and stuff like that, which was fine. She also told us that there was no curfew, because I asked her, I was like, is there a curfew? If there is, it better not be at 10 p.m. She's like, no, honestly, last night we had a wedding here and it went on to like 2 a.m. So you can let it go on however long you want. We will still be here. We won't tell you when to end it, and that's fine. And then we'll just charge you the extra hours on top of that. I'm like, oh, perfect. There's like residences nearby the area, but she said you don't hear nothing from outside. We kind of just went home. We talked about it. Hunter was like, should we cancel the third one? And I was like, no, I still want to keep it just in case. just because the third one was actually matching the vibes that I wanted for the wedding a little bit better than this one. So we just sat on it for a couple days, and then I believe it was like a day or two before our third appointment with the third venue, and I honestly went up to Hunter and was just like, should we cancel it? So we ended up canceling it, and we actually went with this venue. I'm still to this day super happy with the decision that we made with that. It's just wonderful. It just worked out so well, and they're amazing, and I've heard good things about this venue. Anyone that I tell about this venue, they're like, oh my gosh, I've been there for a wedding and it's amazing, the food's amazing, this is amazing. So honestly, we're super happy about our decision. And yeah, I actually took my mom, my grandma, and my best friend there like a few months later just to see the venue because they wanted to see it super, super bad, and I took them and they fell in love with it. There was actually a wedding party there rehearsing for their wedding the day prior, or for their wedding the day after. So it was nice to see them. My grandma and my mom started crying because they started seeing this woman walk down the aisle and they're like, oh my god, that's gonna be you. So it was super sweet, it was super nice. And then we actually ran into Maria, which is the person that helped us out signing the contract and stuff like that, and we found out there was a little miscommunication in the contract and what we signed and what we wanted. So that's when things went a little bit not south, but that's when we found out a few things, which is better to find out now rather than like the day of the wedding and stuff like that, because I would have been very, very upset. I would have became a bridezilla, to be honest, if I found this out the day of our wedding, the day before. Basically, there was a little miscommunication in the logistics of our contract. So when we saw the reception area, which is huge, that you guys saw, initially we were thinking to have 80 people at our wedding, and then she was like, okay, well, if you have at least 75, you'll have this half of the reception area. I don't know, some way somehow like the guest count got confused, and because she said there would be a wall splitting the reception area down the middle, and at that point I was like, no, I don't want no wall. If I have to extend plus ones. And at that point, we only had like a rough draft of a guest list. So we didn't know exactly how many people we were having. We were like, let's keep it a little bit on the lower side, and then it quickly kind of grew over 100 people. So when she told us the wall will go down the middle, I told her, no, me and Hunter honestly disagreed, or agreed that we did not want the reception area to be cut at all. We just wanted the full thing, just because it was beautiful the way it was, like full. And we also didn't want another wedding happening or another event happening next to us and we would see all those people and stuff like that. So that was the miscommunication. Basically, we signed for only half, I believe, of the venue, of the reception area, which was an issue. I was like, no, we want the whole thing. So we redid the contract. The prices went up a little bit, which was a little scary just because it is an all-inclusive, I was gonna say resort. It's an all-inclusive venue, so of course the price is gonna be higher than the prices I just mentioned a little bit ago about the first venue. So it was a little scary and a lot more than we thought, but honestly we're still happy to be getting married at this venue. It's just perfect. So I kind of just signed. I was like, okay, a couple grand more, whatever, that's fine. And so our minimum guest count has to be 135 in order to have the full venue. I was like, perfect, that's fine, we'll make it work, no worries. So that was the only miscommunication. And since our guest count went up a little bit, the backup ceremony, in which I talked to you guys a little bit before, would not be a backup ceremony and area anymore, just because it doesn't fit enough people. So she said that would just be an extended area for the cocktail hour, which was fine. I was like, okay, where would the backup ceremony area be? And the backup ceremony area would be in the reception hall, just because it allows more space. So they would put up a curtain, and she kind of showed us photos of like the chairs and the aisle and everything being set up, and it was beautiful regardless. So I was like, okay, that's fine, that works for me. So now we have the venue all to ourselves, which is great. Thankfully no one booked it, the other half of the venue, because I would have been very upset. But that was the only miscommunication, but she was so glad to get it fixed for us, and she was so helpful. I was a little upset in the moment, but it all turned out for the better. Bless that it was in our favor. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say in regards to that venue. We chose it, we love it. I'm not gonna say the name of it just yet, just because we are getting married there and I don't want to spoil it. I don't want people, you know, knowing where we're getting married yet. I'm gonna show you guys what venue number 3 would have looked like. So that one was actually in the Miami area, so that's definitely a lot further away than what we initially wanted, but the aesthetic of that venue was literally perfection to what I wanted. The lights outside, the clear tent, that type of vibe was what I wanted. But then I believe that one was just to rent the area, and then you'd have to hire vendors for food, alcohol, and all that stuff. So it would have been a lot more expensive than probably what we're paying now, which is crazy to think of. But obviously that's also in the Miami area, so we'd have to travel there constantly if we needed or I had any appointments to do with food or the venue and stuff like that. So after a few days of seeing the second venue, we're just like, you know what, let's just scratch it, just because it's going to be inconvenient for us and also inconvenient for our guests, and also more money for our guests, and we did not want that. We wanted it to be a lot easier on our guests and for ourselves. So yeah, that was the thing. But I love it, it's beautiful. We just didn't see it in person, and then I just canceled the appointment, and it was perfectly fine. We are so happy in the choice that we made for our venue. I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to get married there. But I think that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys had a few ideas on what you want for your wedding venue and what to look out for and stuff like that. If you guys enjoyed my wedding planning series, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, like and comment as well, and then I will see you guys in the next video.